Police Minister Bheki Cele and his entourage has just departed from the home of the late Magistrate Romay Van Rooyen after paying a visit of comfort to her family members here outside her home. Behind me you'll see that the area is still cordoned off with police tape as the investigation is still ongoing into what had transpired at the weekend. The 50-year-old was found dead in her home. The minister has indicated that the matter and the investigation will now be taken over by the Hawks. So just speaking to the family members of Romay Van Rooyen, describing the great loss that the family had suffered, and according to her father, just 8 months after he had lost another daughter. I'm joined now by Taswell Van Rooyen. He is the middle brother of Romay Van Rooyen. Taswell, very warm good day to you. Needless to point out that it's a very difficult time for your family. The minister has just visited here, sharing condolences and also telling the family that the investigation into the death of your sister will now be handled and taken over by the Hawks. As a family, you've also thanked police for their help and their response. Going forward, you said to me just now a speedy response would be necessary, seeing that she represented the justice system and by extension the South African law.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, my sister basically, she worked very hard. If you take into consideration her background, where she came from the day of graduation, being a colored female. So she worked for the NPA, she's an advocate, she became a magistrate eventually, and she dedicated her life to the criminal justice system. And this is a big indictment on the criminal justice system. As I told the minister, I mean, he used a different word at the time. It's an attack on the criminal justice system, as he put it. So, yeah, we are deeply saddened, but I do find comfort in the fact that the minister took his time to come out to share his condolences with the family, and also the amount of attention and the amount of work that the police has put into this since the tragic incident has happened. I mean, Saturday, this place was littered with police officers, CSI teams. The Hawks were on the scene. They had air patrol looking for the vehicle. There were patrol vans scouting all over, and the high regard for the incident and the way they treated and the utmost respect which they dealt with the situation here. I mean, I'm grateful. The family is truly grateful, and we find some comfort in that. And now, knowing that the Hawks is going to be fully involved in the investigation, trying to bring closure to the matter, we were happy about that.
I know you don't want to speculate on the circumstances, and it would indeed be unfair of me to ask you, but we understand from the police that as of yet no arrests made, but also that her vehicle was found close to Mitchell's Plain.
100%. Like I said, I'm no detective, but there's so many scenarios that's playing off in our heads and what happened and how it happened, but the evidence guides us always in this direction or that direction. So the vehicle was found in Mitchell's Plain, as you mentioned, and the key and most of the valuables were in the vehicle. Most of the valuables were in the house, so it didn't look like just a plain simple robbery. So yeah, the car wasn't able to start at the place where they found it. So yeah, it's difficult to say what exactly transpired, and it makes it more difficult to deal with the situation because you don't know and you keep asking the same question. Whenever the family sits down and we try to discuss and try to console one another, and we can't picture it, we can't place it, we can't piece it together, you know, and it's difficult. It's extremely difficult. It's difficult for my dad, and like you mentioned, losing my sister earlier, a couple of months ago. And he never found closure on that matter, and now his second daughter, it's difficult. It is difficult for him. So we're just trying to be there for him and console him as much as we can.